Hello everyone and welcome back to another Stratico video. Today it's only Jonas and I'm kicking off a video series, a very small video series, because we've recently reached 3K subscribers. If you've seen our latest video about the GHB, you already heard me and Ryan talk about that. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tagging along on this journey. It seems like such a long time ago that I actually made my first Lumineth video. I think it was a in-depth guide on wardens or something like that. I really enjoyed doing that, but I was only focusing on Lumineth back then. Then I met Ryan at a tournament. I invited him to join us or join me for a video about Lumineth, and the rest is history, kind of. He chimed in more than I could ever have wished for, and we're at a point now where we're kind of celebrating this channel as a thing for the both of us. So thank you once again so much for joining us, and we're sure to be making another video for the 3K subscriber celebration, and that's gonna be a video with both Ryan and I. But for today we're actually doing a Lumineth army showcase, and it's my Lumineth army. This was actually requested by Hades from the Discord, so thank you Hades for requesting this. I kind of put this off for a while because, you know, it's a little bit of a vulnerable place to show your painting skills or the lack thereof. But I'm actually kind of happy how my armies turned out so far. In the wake, or actually in working up to 4th edition, I was already also massively motivated to start painting again. So I painted up like all the endless spells, 10 cavalry models, 5 stone guard, couple of heroes. So yeah, I've actually been quite busy. So we're gonna dive right in. I'm actually not sure at the time of recording this specifically how the video is gonna turn out, because I bought myself like this very influencer-esque tripod for my smartphone, so I could actually make a decent video for you guys. So I tried to do it properly. I don't fully feel like I succeeded because I don't have a light box, I don't have a nice background or anything, but I tried to you know, take some clean footage against a mostly clean white-ish wall, because I figured that suited the Lumineth with my models right in front of it. So I hope you enjoy, and let us know in the comments what you thought about it. See you in a bit. Alright guys, and here we are with my Lumineth army, or at least half of it. This is the Vanari half, sprinkled with some Vanari goodness. As you can see, the guys that have been in the hobby for quite a while, they'll notice that half of my army is high elf models that I've repurposed for my Lumineth stuff. I did some rebasing for them. I painted them in my Lumineth color scheme to make them fit. And so far, I'm actually quite content with the mix of both high elf and Lumineth stuff. I want to apologize beforehand for the bad lighting and some of the wobbliness of my camera. It was the first time I've made this video, and I actually bought a tripod for this, but it didn't really work as well as I had hoped, to be honest. But you can see my color scheme here is based off the old high elf color scheme for Warhammer Fantasy back in the day. I painted a bunch of gold, blue and white back then, and I really sucked at painting white. I was terrible at it. I've become much better now, though I wish I had chosen for a different color scheme for my Lumineth. Maybe a little bit more gold and less white. But we're going to look at some close-ups now. First of all, we're going to start off with my homemade Vanari banner blade. This is an anointed on Phoenix model, or without the Phoenix obviously. So just an anointed on foot with a Warden sword, the arm from Lyrior Euthrol in his lance, and then the loincloth from Avelenor on the banner there with a Warden shield on his back. I just recently painted him up. Moving on to the twins here, I painted Alania in my typical Vanari color scheme with a lot of blues. And then Elementor, I wanted to stand out with his lava sword instead of a pink sword that he has in the art. So I actually went with a fiery molten metal effect here on the sword. Moving on to my Cathalar, I think now. We're gonna do the High Warden first. So the High Warden, interestingly enough, was the second Lumineth model I ever painted. I started off with Eltharion, which you will get to see in a bit. Back then, when I painted this guy, I was still hopeful and enjoying Lumineth life. I didn't hate golden trims yet. I didn't hate highlighting blue as much. I don't hate highlighting blue, but I still highlighted all the runes on their shields back then. I don't do that anymore now. Onto the Calligraph. This is one of my later models. I've really moved into a cutting corners approach here, where I paint and I leave some mistakes on the models as long as it looks good on the table, because I can't bring myself to try and make them perfect anymore. Same with the crystals here. It was a really quick and dirty paint job. The lines are actually not as clean as they look here in the footage, so I'm happy it looks quite all right. The Vanari Lord Regent, she was actually tough. I really liked painting the beast, to be honest, but the crystals, I mean, as you can see, my approach was dark pink and then a lighter pink, and it just looks really bad when you go to this bigger crystals. But I didn't have it in me to do a different painting approach, so I just left it as it is. I still think she looks kind of all right, even with the unhighlighted shield here, for example. Onto the Dawn Riders. If you're not a Lumineth player, if you don't know, if this doesn't bring you hell, it was an absolute nightmare to paint these guys. I still, wake up screaming sometimes. I hate painting cavalry because horses are hard to paint. The blonde horses are kind of easy with the good contrast paints now, but other than that, I thought Dawn Riders were a real hell. I've still got 5 more to paint. Onto my Sentinels. These guys I actually enjoyed because most of the places on their models are pretty easy to reach. They're kind of flat models, almost 2D-ish. So pretty easy to reach here, and also a quick color scheme to achieve. Not a lot of white, which is also nice. But yeah, that was almost all of my Vanari. I think we're moving on to the High Elf stuff now. So these are my Lothern Sea Guard that I actually use as Wardens. I actually use these Wardens more often than the actual Wardens, because the actual Wardens with their pikes are such a pain in the ass to move. But yeah, that was my Vanari stuff, guys. Onto the Elementary. So here's the Elementary, half of it with Teclis. These guys are a real mixed bag of good painting and bad painting. I put a lot of effort into the big models, obviously, but both the Stone Guard and the Kangaroos that are actually not Kangaroos here, the Wind Chargers, kind of had to suffer my cutting corners approach. We'll start off with one of the worst paint models here. So you can see this is really a quick paint job in compared to what I used to do before. Just blonde highlights on the horses, lots of blue, so not trying to do too much white here, and then a lot of metals. So actually quite easy to paint. I almost didn't highlight the yellow either. The Wind Mage actually took some time. I really dislike how it's the only flying stand in the army. I wish I had enough terrain back when I assembled him to put him to have the cloud leaning on something else. I really wish they had used something else, because everything is without a flying stand, and he has one that looks a little bit 40k-ish. But I loved how this Goku guy came out. I actually kind of like the sculpt, and the fact that he's on a cloud is so cartoonish, but still super cool and Lumineth-y. He's in the Sanctum of Elementor. I pinned his spell up like last week. Really quick and dirty paint job, just a bunch of contrasts, double contrast on the rune, and then glazes and highlights on the lightning effects. On to Severeth. Severeth is a model that I put a lot of effort in, to be fair. I am actually also still pretty happy with how he came out. As you can see, you might have seen from afar there, I didn't actually take the time to paint all the cloud swirls on the white armor plates for my Elementary units. I honestly couldn't be bothered. On the table, I think it looks pretty nice actually, and from a close-up it's nice, but from afar it makes it a little bit too busy for my liking. So I actually love the simple approach here of just having plain white. This is my stand-in Lore Seeker. She's from the Underworld's Warband. I think I spent half an hour or an hour on this model, so very, very quick paint job as well. But I love the tower on her banner, so I just wanted to use her for something. Then into the Stone Guard have and Teclis and Eltharion. I think I'll start off with Eltharion here. He was my first ever Lumineth model. I don't know why I tried starting with him. It actually took me quite a while to figure out how I wanted to paint my Lumineth stuff. But this is kind of a wing to old Eltharion, because I painted his feathers just the way as he had them when he was in Warhammer Fantasy and still on his Griffin. The cloak's actually better highlight than it shows up here, but I think it's with the contrast from the charcoal armor. I actually really love the charcoal armor here. It's actually one of my favorite colors to use as a dark color. And I wish I had chosen for, you know, more darks on my Vanari, to be honest. I think we're moving on to the rune. Yep. So the rune is something that I painted also quite late. For my stone guards, I went with a partially stone theme, but also a lava theme. So as you can see, there's really like angry reds with charcoal and gray, and I really love how it came out. I'm a big fan of it. So yeah, I'm happy. Onto the stone guard. I finished these guys today, you know. So this guy specifically was finished today. As you can see, really quick and dirty. You can see a lot of errors on it. The gold trims aren't as neat. But I can't do it, guys. I can't try to be perfect with the golden trims anymore. It's just, it breaks me. Yeah, so I wanted to show off this guy. This is a white line of grays from the Alt High Elf range. It's also an Alt Metal one. So this sculpt's actually older than some of you guys probably. I put these guys on a lava base because I made my own Elementor sculpt with the Avatar of Cain from Eldar 40k. And I wanted these guys to be his bodyguard. So while I have 10 stone guard, I also have 15 lava guards. And that's only one of them painted. Then I've got a stone mage, quite happy with how she turned out. I love the blue lightning on the stone there, the gaps between the stones. I can't see it as well, but I'll zoom in a second. The blue on the cloak is also super satisfying to do here with the edge from the plateau that she's sitting on. So I really enjoyed painting this model. It's also so easy to reach all of the places because she's floating, and I thought the sculpt was actually a 10 out of 10. So big fan. I loved painting her. On to my mountain guy. So I actually got this guy from my from one of my best friends who gave it to me because I was his groomsman. Yeah, not much to say here. This was the first Elementary model that I painted. I decided then and there that I didn't want to do the clouds or the swirls on his armor, so I didn't do it for the other Elementary either. His painting is quite simple, to be honest, and as you can see here, I tried to do some purple gems instead of all pink because the pink just looked a little bit derpy, but I didn't really replicate it anywhere else. And here you can also see the loincloth from which I used the other loincloth for Elementor on the Vanari banner blade that I'm bringing up here. So you can see here. Yeah, I mean, this banner blade is voting for the Elder Temple clearly, so he's really hyped. And also his Zenith Temple because he has Phoenix symbols. And then onto the Flamey Boy. So this is the Avatar of Cain. He's actually smaller than the normal Spirit of the Mountain. But he, as I imagined it, he's the heart of the mountain. You know, the heart of the mountain has a lava core. And he awakens with his armor and a helmet that I glued to the horns of Elementor on. From the Eldar helmets, there are 3 options. And I chose the one that looked the most Lumineth-y. And then I gave him the Elementor helms and chose for a lava base to make him fit with the Avatar theme much more. I'm actually super stoked about how this turned out. I feel like it looks like a Lumineth model, and I think when a Zenith Temple comes out with a lot of more phoenixes and flamey stuff, this will match quite nicely. So yeah, I'm happy. And here is zooming on his Tushy because, you know, he worked hard for that. You can see he worked very hard for that tush. So I had to highlight it. And then onto the big boy himself, Teclis. I think I wasn't the only one that fell in love with Lumineth, mainly because of Teclis. The lore is so cool, and I loved painting this model. It was actually pretty easy compared to a lot of other stuff that I had from Lumineth. There wasn't actually as much golden borders. There was a lot of variation. Selenar was a joy to paint, even though I took hours out of my day to paint the back of his wings, which we will look at in a second. And for Teclis himself, I mean, you painted him separately and then you glued him on, and it was so easy. I actually wanted to keep him completely separate because I didn't like the idea of transporting him as he is now, but it ended up magnetizing the base, so it turned out fine. I'm gonna turn around Selenar now so you can see the painstaking time that I took to highlight all those feathers. This actually didn't break me as much as the golden trims on all of my wardens. I'd happily paint 2 or 3 Teclises rather than 5 more Dawn Riders. So I think a lot of you guys will share that sentiment with me. But yeah, guys, that's all of my painted Lumineth stuff. I have a bunch still in the cupboard, a couple of Sentinels, 15 Lava Guard, and 5 Dawn Riders, and a couple of heroes. But so far, I'm quite happy with it. I hope you enjoyed this showcase. Onto the end screen. And that's it, you guys. That was my army showcase for my Lumineth army. I've plenty of stuff yet to paint, but so far I'm actually kind of happy where I'm at. I tried to get this army up to like a 7 out of 10 standard, and I think I mostly managed. Some models maybe more of an 8 for my painting skills at least, and a couple of definitely below 7, but here we are. On the table, I think it still looks absolutely okay. But what do you think about it? Did you learn anything about my babbling, or did you just enjoy watching it? Let us know in the comments, because as you know, likes and comments, they keep the viewers coming in. It kind of makes all of our effort worth it as well. I actually spent way more time on this video than I thought I would, setting up all these models and then taking them out of my cupboard and back into them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to tag along for the upcoming Lumineth content, you can also obviously subscribe, and you'll be able to stay up to date, because spoiler alerts, both Ryan, me, and Siegfried, or the 3 of us, are starting our Lumineth index review in a little bit less than a week now. You'll be able to watch it, I think, on Friday. So you've got something to look forward to there. If you want to chat about more Lumineth stuff or other related content, obviously, you can find us in the Discord. And feel free to share this video around if you're a proud member of our community here. We'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully that's the one with Ryan, where we're celebrating maybe a battle report or something. But I think the next one might actually be the Lumineth Index reviews. And then on Sunday, Ryan and I are doing our first 4th edition games, and we're going to try and record one as a battle report. But it's going to be very, very amateur-esque. So you've got something to look forward to, but don't get too hyped. Guys, thank you once again so much for following us and supporting us. And I love making these videos for you guys, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.